Hello and happy Tuesday. You excited for Tuesday? I'm excited for Tuesday. Today, we're going to talk about how to raise confident, money smart kids who thrive in the real world. Money skills, confidence, entrepreneurship, life skills every child needs. Tell me in the chat where you're tuning in from. If you're catching the replay, say replay. If you're here live, say live. I always love hearing where people are tuning in from. Can I be honest with you, parents, just for a little bit? Many of our children are growing up in a world where they know how to use technology. Hello, Ivy, my 7 year old. At the age of 3, she was already able to scroll my phone. So kids these days, they know how to use technology, but they do not know how to use money. Can you relate? They can scroll TikTok, they can play video games, they can memorize information at school, but many children are not learning confidence, communication, problem solving, leadership, entrepreneurship, and how money actually works. And the truth is, school was never designed to fully prepare our kids for real life. In fact, I have had about 5 parents the last couple of days tell me with agony how they feel like their child isn't ready for the real life, how they feel like their child has this kind of nonchalant attitude towards life. And this person, specifically, this person's child, is about to become 18 years old. And she's so terrified because that child doesn't have real life skills. And that really caught my heart. And I could feel her pain. As parents, we have to fill that gap. So today, it's not about raising kids who know how to save, not just how to save, it's about raising kids who are confident kids, capable kids, creative kids, resilient kids, and kids who can thrive in the real world. And I want to tell you, if you do it right with your kids. In fact, I believe every child has creative skills. They can come up with ideas that they can bring to the marketplace and get paid for. So, helping children to see that the marketplace will always pay for value and helping our kids come up with value, right? Now, not every child is going to be entrepreneurial, right? Some children will grow up and go work for somebody else, and that's okay. However, the skills they learn when they think about entrepreneurship, when they think about bringing value to the marketplace, that skill set is going to set them up for life. So, even if you think, oh, I don't think I want my child to be an entrepreneur, that's okay, right? But the skills they learn about how to create value, bring value to the marketplace, and get paid, that skill, it builds confidence that will serve them for many, many years to come. In fact, one of my very close friends, my very good friend, Latoya told me yesterday how her 12-year-old now is getting paid as a graphic designer because she's really, really good with designing logos, banners for workshops. And now she's getting paid at age 12. So imagine the confidence that gives. Her name is Lauren. And I got to meet her because I work very closely with her mom online. There in New York, I got to meet her and I got to see her creativity. She showed me one thing she created. And I'm like, what? You did that? Right? I believe every kid can do that. Every kid can come up with ideas of what to bring to the marketplace. Now, it could be online, it could be in your neighborhood, it doesn't matter. And the world has changed. Most of us, we were raised to believe, oh, study hard, get good grades, get a good job, and everything will work out. You and I know that's not the case now. In fact, just scroll LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, and you're gonna see people saying how they've lost their jobs, people who've been to Oxford, Cambridge, MIT, losing jobs, unheard of. In fact, I was reading the news 2 weeks ago, and if you go on the BBC, because I get my news on the BBC, so I was reading how youth 18 years old to 24 have been applying for jobs for 3 years. I'm like, they've been applying for jobs consistently for 3 years and they haven't had even just an acknowledgement or a response to say how they can be better. So I say that to say the world is changing. The world you and I grew up in, where we were taught go to school, study hard, get good grades. In fact, I graduated with the first from Middlesex University. I was the top of my class, right? Because my parents always said, if you get good grades, you have a good life. Mm, that's all I was saying. Really? Sorry, I'm laughing. Gosh. But the world we are growing up is completely different. Today, children need adaptability, creativity, confidence, communication skills. How do they communicate the value they bring to the marketplace? Like, even when you want to sell to investors, let's say your kid comes up with an idea, a product design, they have to learn the skills to communicate that. They have to learn the skills to tell investors the value of what they bring to the marketplace. So it isn't just about learning how to mow the lawn in your neighborhood and get paid for it. Like, that's not it, right? So communication skills, how do they communicate that value? How do they show up with confidence and certainty about the value they bring to the marketplace? Financial intelligence. In fact, someone was telling me yesterday, I did a post yesterday about what my daughter Ivy, she's 7 years old, what she was asking me about money. And someone commented on my post on LinkedIn and said, oh, my child never learned how to read a bank statement until they were earning for the first time, and they're like, how does this work? Right? So financial intelligence, how many of you, when you were growing up, did you learn about taxes? Did you learn about investing? Did you learn negotiation skills? Did you learn entrepreneurship? Did you? Aren't these skills that schools should be teaching our kids? But they're not. Right? Exactly. They're not. And these are the skills our children need to thrive in the marketplace, to thrive as adults. So, what kids actually need is four things, I believe, four key things kids really need. One is financial confidence, no fear around money, not stressed around money. In fact, I want kids to enjoy talking about money. I want them to see money as a fun topic, because if they have that relationship with money, it's going to set them up for life. Kids should understand earning. How do people earn money? How do you bring value to the marketplace and get paid? How do you save? Right? Delayed gratification. How do you not spend everything you have today? How do you invest? What do you invest in? How do you analyze investment opportunities? We also need to teach them giving, how to make wise decisions around money, around earning, around saving, around investing. And then number two skill is communication skills. Confident adults are usually children who learned to express themselves, to speak up, to ask questions, and to communicate their ideas. So tell me in the chat. I want to know, and I'm in the comment section, and I'm going to come respond to every single comment. What skill, in your opinion, do you think your child needs the most? So I talked about financial confidence, communication skills. Skill number three is problem solving. How do you identify a problem, solve that problem, and get paid for it? The future belongs to people who can solve problems. Right now, children are being taught to memorize, right? Not how to think and solve problems. And then skill number four is entrepreneurial skills. And like I said, not every child will become an entrepreneur, but every child will benefit from learning initiative, leadership, value creation, confidence, and how to turn ideas into opportunities. That mindset changes everything. So, what are actionable things you can do starting today? So let me give you practical things you can begin implementing immediately. Action step number one, stop giving money to your child without a conversation. Instead of constantly telling your child, here's money, and giving them money, I want you to start asking, what do you plan to do with it? Will this money help or hurt you? And if they want to buy, ask them, is this a need or a want? I'm going to tell you a story. So I got an email from my daughter's school that they were going for a field trip. And it was going to cost something like, I think, $60 for the field trip. And she's been saving. So she has her piggy bank where she saves her money. So she goes, "Oh, mommy, I want to go to this field trip. They're gonna go to a zoo. Like they had a fun trip planned for the day." And so I said to her, "Awesome. If you really, really want to go, you're gonna have to pay from your pocket money." And so she said, "I don't want to waste my money." So I said, "What do you mean waste? You just told me that this is a field trip you want to go." And she goes, "You use your money." I'm like, "No, you get to decide. If you really, really want to go for this field trip, it's $60 and the school has this online platform for payment because they don't take cash anymore." So I said, "Well, I'm logged in now. If you really want to go, it's $60." And I got to watch my daughter think think about whether she wanted to spend her $60 to go for this field trip. That's what we want. We want our children to be able to think and say, "Oh, is this a need or a want? Do I want to go? Do I want to spend this money?" Because obviously it took her a while to earn that $60. So I saw her negotiate in her brain whether she wanted to go. Well, obviously, because it was a school trip, everyone was going. She decided she wanted to go, and she gave me the $60. And then I paid with my credit card. And that was a great lesson for her to learn that you get to decide whether something is a need or a want. So that's something I want you to start doing with your child. When they ask you for something, ask them, is this a need or a want? And then another question I want you to ask them is, what's your goal for your money? Okay, because for this action step, you want to build intentional thinking. Okay, you want them to be very intentional about how they think about money, how they decide how to use money. Okay, so that's action step number one. Action step number two, I want you to teach your child to earn, not just receive. One of the most powerful confidence builders for children is earning money. So small things like helping neighbors, going to babysit for one of your family members and getting paid, creating crafts, selling snacks, offering services, tutoring, washing cars. There are many ways that you can help your child earn that will teach them the value of money. So when children earn, they begin seeing themselves as capable, right? It builds their confidence through competence. That's what we want to build in our children. And then action step number three, let kids solve problems. Many parents solve everything for their children. But confident children are built when they learn how to think, how to recover, how to problem solve. So instead of, "Oh, I'm going to fix that for you," ask your child, "What do you think we should do?" Okay, because you want them to start exercising that muscle in their brain about how to solve problems. And you're gonna be so surprised how creative your child is. Right? So don't jump into solving every single problem for them. Allow them to come up with solutions to problems. That's how you're going to set them up for success in the future. So that's action step number three. Action step number four, I want you to normalize conversations about money. Many of us grew up where money was stressful and secretive, me included. So think about your earliest memory of money. I grew up in abject poverty. So growing up, I saw money as a big, scary thing. The big, scary thing that meant my parents couldn't feed us. The big, scary thing that meant we had to go. Well, my dad specifically would send me to go borrow food, right? So, and I remember very well taking a note from my dad to school over and over to the principal to say why he couldn't pay the fees. And it was so shameful to be singled out from the assembly line because the fees hadn't been paid. And I remember my parents always fighting around money. So, your earliest memory of money, I want you to think about that. And if you're comfortable sharing, tell me in the comments. Like I said, I'm going to answer all the comments. I'm currently streaming live on a LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. So I'm going to come and answer all of your comments. I want you to now be intentional about what you expose to your child about money. Because more than anything, your child is picking up from what they see, right? Not necessarily everything you tell them to do, but what they see. So, what's your relationship with money? Do you find money stressful? Because if you do, it's going to imprint on your child. And did you know? Now, I learned this from the work I've been doing. So I've been doing this for 4 years now around money and around how money works, financial confidence, financial stability, freedom, security. And I learned that by the age of 7, our money story is already imprinted. I'm like, what? Yes, by the age of 7, our money story is already imprinted. So if you have a child that is over 7, their money story is already imprinted from what they saw you show them. So it's so powerful that we are so intentional about how we talk about money, how we behave around money, not just talk about money. So I now, since I know that money stories are imprinted very early on, I've been so intentional around my daughter to let her see that money can be fun, right? Money can be exciting. It shouldn't be this stressful topic that adults stress around. Okay, so I want you to normalize conversation around money. Children should learn budgeting, saving, generosity, wise spending, investing, and delayed gratification. That's so important. How do we teach our children to delay gratification so that they have future focus, right? So it's not spending my $5 on a bowl of ice cream today, helping them understand, well, if you delay that gratification, you can invest the $5, earn money on the $5, and spend the interest. How cool is that? That we're able to teach our children how to behave that way around money. So even simple family conversations matter. Now, step number 5, I want you to encourage ideas. Ask your children, ask your child, what problem could you solve? How could you create? What could you teach? What could you sell? What could you bring to the marketplace that people will be willing to pay you for? How could you help somebody else? We want children to be creators, not just consumers. So let's think about the bigger picture. At the end of the day, this is a lot bigger than just money, right? We are raising future adults, we are raising future leaders, we are raising future parents, future business owners, future problem solvers. And what children learn early shapes their confidence, their habits, their mindsets about life, and often their future. The goal is not to raise children who are dependent on us forever. That's not what we want. The goal is to raise capable, confident, resourceful human beings. This is exactly why I created the Wealth Builders Academy for kids, because I saw a huge gap between what children were learning at school and what they actually need to thrive in life. Inside of the academy, we help children develop money skills, confidence, communication, entrepreneurship, leadership, and real world thinking. We also work very closely with families because parents play such a huge and important role in reinforcing these habits at home. So, if this resonated with you today and you want your child to become more confident, more capable, more financially smart, you want them to be resourceful, you want them to be entrepreneurial, I'd love for you to send me a DM. I'm going to tell you how it works. We're going to hop on a simple coffee chat and we're going to talk about your child, where they are right now and where you want them to be, and how I can help you support their growth. You will also learn more about my 6-week Wealth Builders Academy program. So it's a group program for 6 weeks. Or if you are more interested in your child getting one-on-one coaching from me, I can make that happen as well. So this is just a conversation about your child and how we can help your child thrive. Because at the end of the day, as we've discussed, it's not just the skills they learn from school, right? So the things I learned from school, the things I had to memorize at school, now is so useless. The things I had to memorize. This is even at master's level, right? The things I had to memorize to pass my courses at school, they're so useless right now. I wish all of that time was spent telling me or teaching me how to survive in the real world, how to bring my skills to the marketplace, the confidence to sell my ideas to people. I wish I was taught. I believe our children deserve the skills, the confidence, the mindset to strive in the real world, to have an exciting life, to be successful, to be happy, to be self sufficient. I think our kids deserve that. And I believe that questions may have come up for you as I was teaching. I want you to send me a private DM or comment below. Tell me right away. I look forward to connecting with you and tell me what's the key thing you wish your kid knew right now. Tell me the skills you wish schools taught our children. I'm so excited because when you implement these action steps I just gave you, you're going to see a turnaround. Your kid is going to be more confident. They're going to be more entrepreneurial. They're going to come up with ideas. Your child has ideas. So you might not know this because you feel, oh, that is just Joe. That's just Ivy. That's just Jennifer. No, your child has so much creativity inside of them. And what I'm going to do, my job is to pull out that creativity and show them what they're capable of, to help them build confidence, to help them become resilient, to help them enjoy life more. Look forward to being an adult because they have the skills already. I'm so excited for this. So send me a private DM, ask me all of your questions. I am so excited to connect with you. Until next time, take care of yourself, keep smiling, and God bless you.